I mean, it's not really about the tics, is it? It's not really about the tics. So we think it's about the tics. We think it's about the body that's moving by itself, or the tics that are coming through as the sounds that come through our body, or the label we've put on it, Tourette's, or chronic tic, or whatever word we might call it. I called it a twitch for a long time. It's not about the movement or the sound. It's not actually about that. Can you connect to that? Although you're watching this video because it's about tics, it's not about tics. What is it then about if it's not about the tics? What is it about if it's not about the tics? Well, it's about what's creating the tics. So what's creating the tics? Emotional charges. What's creating the tics is emotional charges. A charge, an emotion that's being stored in the physical body that hasn't yet been tapped into so that it can resonate, tune, dissipate out of being held inside of the physical body. We're a physical body, yes, but we're also like a tuning fork that's out of tune if we're living with tics. It's like our body keeps the score. Our body holds on to pockets of emotional experiences that we didn't get to process in the moment that we experienced that emotional situation. And because that emotional situation was not processed in the moment because it was overwhelming, we didn't feel safe, it happened really fast, we didn't have community around us, we didn't know how to communicate what was going on, it was quite a significant emotional experience, or maybe it was just built up because of patternings from our head. It doesn't matter how the unprocessed emotional experience came to be. The story is kind of less important than acknowledging that there are pockets of emotions or energy that have got stuck in the system. And the way that we stop tics is to find ways to dissipate the emotion, to connect to the body so the body gets to release the energy or the emotion. That's the work that I've been doing for years. That's it summed up 101. And so for me, the work that I do is like wrapped up, right, in this niche, motor tics, vocal tics and Tourette's. But honestly, the work that I do is beyond just this condition, because it transcends conditions. It transcends just this particular niche, because what I teach is a way to energetically, emotionally, right, be with parts of ourselves again, connecting, loving, so that the unprocessed emotion and the patterning of our mind that's been created around the unprocessed emotion can once again feel safe enough to be integrated back into the whole of you. That's why we use the word holistic health, holistic healing, natural health, holistic. It doesn't have to be such a taboo word that we push to the fringes of our society. Holistic health is an approach to our well-being that takes into consideration not just balancing the chemicals in the brain by taking pharmaceutical drugs for 20 years, but by honoring the emotional nature of who we are and what we are. If we're living with a ticking body, depending on how long you've been living with it for, there is unprocessed emotion. Now, to go about getting to the unprocessed emotion, there's all sorts of tools and techniques and guidance that I offer and other people offer and is available for you in our world, right? And sometimes we need a holding hand to walk us safely to feeling some of that stuff. Because if we try and feel it all ourselves, oftentimes it's so overwhelming and we've got so many sneaky patterns we've created in our mind because, you know, the unprocessed emotion was from years or decades ago. If you're an older person watching this, if you're a younger person, even then, a few years ago can be a long time ago because kids seem to, I don't know, I feel as if when we're kids, time moves slower because we're much more present. So life is fuller. So there's more of it. And the older we get, time moves faster. That's generally been my experience. Although as older and older I get now, I'm like learning to slow down time as I become even more present again after many years of being unpresent. But it is through presence, the present of presence, where we get to notice the energies and the emotions that are existing inside of us. That's why having a mindfulness or meditation practice is so important in our day and age. If you're living with tics and or Tourette's and you haven't yet ingrained a regular meditation practice into your life, my curiosity is, do you actually want to change? Like, it takes will to change. You don't have to change. You can live with a ticking body for the whole of your life if you want. But it takes will to change. So you have to still create structure and make decisions and do new stuff. And maybe that new stuff means that you need support. Maybe you can do it all yourself, right? I've found that I can't always do it all myself. Yeah, my mind thinks that I can do it all myself. And it's like, oh no, oh, I need support again. I need community again. I need people around me again. I want to both guide others and be supported by others. I want to both give and receive because that is being whole. Being whole means that we want to give into the world and receive from the world. It means both polarities. So the energy is both moving out of us, the emotion is moving out of us, and the emotion and the energy is moving into us. Whole, full, complete, circular, rhythmic in life. So behind the tics, there's always a charge, an emotion that hasn't been integrated. Now, we don't use our mind to figure out what that thing is. And then we just create more suffering because our mind doesn't do the healing of the emotion that needs to dissipate and be integrated. The mind does not do it. The mind might create spaciousness and room and safety and structure to allow the feelings to be felt, but it doesn't hone in to fix it. That won't get us anywhere. We must create space with our mind and our heart to hold ourselves so that we can dissipate the emotions underneath the ticking. Every tick in anybody in the whole world that's ever lived with Tourette's or chronic tics, motor tics, vocal tics, transient or simple, or complex or chronic, all of it, all of those names, all of those situations, every single movement is coming from a controlling mechanism that's been created on top of an emotion that doesn't want to be felt. A controlling mechanism that's been created that covers up an emotion that doesn't want to be felt. Every tic is a controlling mechanism to stop us from actually feeling what wants to be felt. When we create space to really feel that wants to be felt, the charge that creates a ticking body dissolves, and the frequency and the intensity of the sounds and the movements continues to reduce, calm, and stop. You are allowed to be still. Your body is allowed to find rest. Your body is allowed to be seen. Your body can be nurtured with your heart. Your body is loved by the small I and the big I, the great beyond, the witness, and by your own individuated heart too. Your heart can emanate through every cell of your body now. As we weave in new casting of spells into your conscious and unconscious, so that the health and the healing found in resonance with each cell is connected to the deepest and most profound expression, greatest expression, the highest expression of your soul. love can be brought to the deepest and darkest places of suffering. If only we allow it to. Uh, mm, Very good. Thank you for being with me today. I hope these words have served you well.